watched this video before? I think it's supposed to be very interesting. Alright, the title is Most Evil Live Stream Ever.
In the late 90s, a very popular Japanese game show tortured a man for a year and broadcast it every Sunday night. This isn't like reality TV where it's all fake and scripted, not to ruin Christmas for all the believers out there. This was legitimately torturing another human being for the sake of entertainment.
Wow.
And it was extremely popular, averaging 17 million viewers every Sunday night that they'd play the clips. That's absolutely massive, even by
Is this live streamed or is this recorded, this Japanese show?
today's standards. It's more viewers than the last 4 years of the NBA Finals and the World Series.
Wow.
And obviously more than most television shows get. For reference, The Boys season premiere got around 8 million viewers, and according to YouTuber Atrocity Guide, who also covered this story, the most viewed episode of Game of Thrones got around 16 million viewers, so it even beats that. Just an absolutely massive success, but it doesn't stop there. The producers knew there was still a little milk left in those teats and they wanted to suckle. So they actually turned it from just a weekly broadcast into a full-blown live stream where you could log on online and watch him suffer in real time. So whenever you were just feeling particularly quirky, you could hop in there and watch a man be miserably tortured for the better part of a year. Doesn't that sound...
What kind of contract did this man sign for? Like, the actor in this show, like, doesn't he read the contract?
Sound like fun? What a great way of starting the day. A nice bowl of cereal and milk for breakfast and watching a man's sanity slowly deteriorate as he dances around naked in absolute agony.
Oh my god.
Wonderful. This is the story of Nasubi. As I briefly mentioned, another YouTube channel named Atrocity Guide made a great video on this topic, but I wanted to go even deeper. So we, Caleb, Chelsea, and I, really did a fucking thorough deep dive, spreading the foul cheeks of this situation wide open, going through live streams, all of the broadcast clips, in order to really get a handle on just how vile this whole thing was. So let's begin. In 1998, a popular Japanese game show...
What's up, good day? He signed a contract, he agreed there is contest. It's more than a year. It's a good ending, please be a good ending.
Show named Susanoo Dimpa Shonen held a raffle to find their next contestant for an upcoming show.
Wait, 2 to 3 years. He better get paid with millions of dollars, just saying, like...
show they were working on called A Life of Prizes. Nasubi ended up winning the lottery and was ecstatic. He believed this was going to be a big break for him since he was also an up-and-coming comedian, and he was escorted to a small apartment where he was then instructed to take off all of his clothes in order to participate in the game. The challenge was he would have to survive in this apartment on nothing but his winnings from sweepstakes. They only provided him with water, and he was told that he would not be allowed to leave or communicate with the outside world or have any access to anything that he didn't directly earn through magazine sweepstakes. He was told that he'd need to win 1 million yen, which at the time, 1998, was right around 8,000 US dollars, through only mail-in magazine sweepstakes in order to complete the challenge and be released from the room. And yes, this does include food. They didn't provide him with any food. The only food he'd have access to is the food that he earns through mail-in sweepstakes. It just feels like there were better odds of a bird carrying $10,000 in its mouth crashing through the apartment window than actually earning 10 grand through mail-in sweepstakes. This shit is like something you would...
So back in the day, there is no internet, right? So there is like no crypto, no online gamble and all that. Only magazine. That's some hardcore survival story. He's also naked, only 8K. But this is like old. You see that 300p pixelized video quality is quite old. He has to win the clothes too. I mean, how does he, you know, like... did he not jerk off?
What?
Actually hear of like fucked up prison guards at Guantanamo Bay doing as like a joke or something. It's so cruel and brutally difficult. But Nasubi did actually pull it off. It took Nasubi 335 days total to finally make enough money to be released from it. Or at least so you'd think. This is actually only the tip of the iceberg here, but I just want to give you the story in a nutshell. And I also want to explain the name Nasubi, because that's not actually the contestant's real name. His actual name is Tomoaki Hamatsu. The name Nasubi actually means eggplant. And he got this because the producers used an eggplant to censor his genitals for the broadcast.
Wait, is this why we're using eggplants nowadays? Is this like originated from here? It's very like a torture, and why is that what you think, Niner? Like, yeah, because of human needs. You need to eat, sleep, and have sex. That's like basic thing you must have for everybody. Hello?
And they also said that his...
If you ever watch The Boys, chat, have you ever watched The Boys? The main character representing American and the crazy one that drinking milk as a hobby. He was really pissed when he couldn't jerk off as when he was in the facility, right? Like Homelander, here we fucking go. Homelander was so pissed because he couldn't jerk off, and then he murdered everybody. Remember in that show? Yeah, if you cannot jerk off, it literally stimulated your anger, okay?
Head resembled the shape of an eggplant. The whole point of the Susanoo Dinpa Shonen broadcast here was to laugh at Nasubi. And people were. 17 million people having an old hoot and a holler, real side-splitting comedy, watching a man be legitimately tortured. Nasubi believed that he was being recorded and that the clips were going to be re-edited and broadcast for TV. So he would come in and like update people on what he's doing. Like, I just won this can of cat food. I just won this bicycle. And then he'd like dance around and try and make it entertaining. But he never knew that he was being live streamed the whole time. He was under the impression that it was just going to be moments from the challenge. Not that every excruciating second of this challenge was being broadcast to all of Japan. Extremely fucked situation, and this is just the bare outline of it. What I want to do for this video is actually go through a lot of clips and moments from this live stream and the broadcast, as well as just everything surrounding it, because it is so baffling. It is bizarre that this actually happened.
I'm interested when was the original video made, because I believe if you make this kind of thing nowadays, first of all, definitely illegal. Second, you can just say so many stuff to get the show cancelled. Okay, right now this cancel culture is crazy.
I remember Vsauce did a video on what happens to the mind when you're cut off from stimulation in the outside world for an extended period of time, and unsurprisingly, it is so psychologically damaging to be completely alone and isolated like Nasubi was. And Vsauce only did like a few days. Nasubi did over a year, 15 months total.
Oh. They say get naked with a heart. Nice. You win something? Oh!
気分フードケミファさんのファイバーゼリー12個入りでございます。
Fiber jelly.
This was Nasubi's first big win, a fat dubski. He was able to secure 12 pots of fiber jelly. I don't know what the fuck fiber jelly is. I've never heard of it in my life.
Okay.
That sounds like a made-up substance in the movie.
It's like a protein jelly, fiber jelly. It's like a girl eat it for beauty and like replace male, like very popular in Asia. So just like a male replacement, you still feel full, and sometimes it's good for your skin. So yeah, it's edible.
Movie Snowpiercer, but it was huge for Nasubi because it's his first bit of food since this started, so he was extremely hungry and was able to get some nutrients. This wasn't the first thing he applied for, though. The first sweepstakes he was entering were for clothes.
Not like a male replacement, not like a man replacement. I'm saying male, M-E-A-L. Like you can replace your male with it. So like a beauty snack, or like some girl just eat it so they don't eat a carb, okay? Like something like that.
Clothing items. He wanted to cover up, obviously, because being naked is going to be cold, uncomfortable, especially since it's being filmed. So he had applied for an apron first, but he didn't win.
やった！また何か当たったんだ。
Aww.
はい。お名前出してもらいたいと思いまして。あ、 はい、わかりました。はい。
Actually, he opened the door like this. Wait, does the postal office people see him naked?
当然か？
まずラ
Ramen!
全部で1700円になります。すいません、間違えました。
Obviously, since Nasubi was trapped in isolation, cut off from the rest of the world, he cherished every single knock at that door. It was the only bit of human interaction he gets.
Aww.
So he'd get excited, and of course, he's expecting to win something, since why else would someone be knocking at the door? So he gets really hyped up, like, hey, finally something came that's gonna help me get closer to completing this challenge, or maybe it's food and I'm starving. But that wasn't always the case. Like in these two clips here, sometimes it was just fucking cruel, where a postman knocked on his door just to let him know that he needs to put his name on the mailbox or some shit.
Aww.
And then also someone put the wrong address for a ramen delivery, so he couldn't even have the ramen after smelling it. It was just really sad to see.
Aww.
米か？
He's so thin.
米だ。
He's so...
ナスビ、米。
Wow, oh my god, poor man.
Finally, it seems fortune's looking up for Nasubi here. He's able to secure 5 kilograms of rice. But then things get heartbreaking when he realizes he has no way of cooking the rice.
Oh, no!
Because he'd need to win a pot from a sweepstakes in order to use it. So he just has 5 kilograms of rice that he can't cook. It's fucking terrible. You know, like it's a treasure that you can't have.
I know.
So he gets desperate and he starts resorting to eating the rice raw.
No, but it's like giving you hope and take your hope away. That's so horrible.
生米をかじる。
お
What?
願いします。おかゆにでもちゃんとなってください。申し訳ないですけどね。ちょっとこれは失敗じゃないですか？
Oh,
待って。
look how bony he is. Look at his shoulder. He's... Oh my god, I feel bad.
ちょっと待ってよこれ。
実験成功。
Oh!
見て。
Oh my god!
Unable to continue eating the rice raw, Nasubi knew he needed to find some way to cook it, so he went full fucking Jimmy Neutron here. He hatched an idea to put the rice into one of the jelly fiber containers, and he put hot water in it, left it out overnight, hoping to make it somewhat cooked. As you can see in the
Wow.
clip, he said, even if it's gruel, just make it into something. It didn't work at all. So he came up with another plan to put it in the fiber jelly container, put it in the hot water, and set it next to the gas burner. So that way it would kind of cook it by proxy. And
Genius.
this worked. It was able to cook the rice, and now he had an efficient way of actually eating that rice that he won.
自転
Oh.
車に乗ってご飯が食える。
Where did he get a bike?
幸せだな僕は。ね。
Maybe he won a bike.
Slowly but surely, Nasubi was chipping away at that million yen goal, winning more and more prizes, such as a bicycle, which on the surface seems pretty useless since he couldn't take it outside, but he turned it into a stationary bike, and I'm sure that was like a good way of stimulating
Fun?
him, because what the fuck else are you gonna do?
I know.
So he'd eat his watery rice while pedaling on the bicycle, and he started gathering more and more winnings. It started to look like my fucking dorm room from college, just a bicycle and all kinds of miscellaneous shit all over the place.
来ましたね見事に。いやいややってみるもんですね。
What is that?
ほら。
お米の炊き方98年3月版ニューバージョンです。
1998. Oh my. This thing is shooting in 1998.
ちゃってるよこれ。
Spaghetti.
もう。トレビアン。
He also upgraded his whole cooking operation by using a pin and a can of sake. He was
What, did I read that wrong? New version March 1998 rice cooker, right? This is from 1998. He hasn't won clothes yet, so he cannot wear any. Let's pray for him. Win some clothing.
トレビアン。
He also upgraded his whole cooking operation by using a pin and a can of sake. He was able to create a pretty efficient cooking apparatus. So he was able to make rice more efficiently. He was even able to cook spaghetti now. So he was really like climbing up the tech tree here by
Good
just
job.
being an absolute fucking genius. And it's also worth noting some of the more useless things he won, like the bicycle, wasn't entirely worthless because that helped increase the value of his winnings, bringing him closer to that million yen mark. So even if he couldn't get a ton of usage out of it directly, just having it in the room was beneficial because it gets him closer to being done with the challenge.
瞬間が訪れようとしているしかし
What did he got?
でも
Underwear?
ちょっと厳しいね。こんな
小さすぎた。
こんな感じになっちゃうね、ちょっとね。
Now, it's been about 2 months in this clip here, and according to Atrocity Guide, Nasubi submitted 5,748 sweepstakes entries in the first month. So you can imagine that he's right around that 11,000, 12,000 sweepstake entry ballpark, and he is just now winning his first article of clothing, which are used panties from someone named Hitomi-chan.
Hitomi-chan, that sounded like a girl.
I want to say I had no idea the used panty market spanned this far back in time. This is 1998. I thought soiled panties, used socks, and bath water were things women started selling within the last decade to take advantage of like internet sales. I had no idea that this was a popular market all the way back into the 90s.
Well, maybe it's a popular market when we are living in the forest. You never know. We don't know. Maybe man has been desire used panties since when we were monkey, okay? Do they bring newspapers? Hopefully. Poor guy, I mean, it's woman underwear. How can he use it to maybe wear it as a hat?
But anyway, Nasubi wins these panties. It's his only article of clothing he's won so far, but they don't fit, unfortunately.
Sorry.
名前つけてあげないとね、かわいそうだね。そうだ。ナスビのお友達でヴィーナス。ヴィーナスちゃんと。
ナスビ、ヴィーナス連れて初めてのお散
Oh,
歩
it's a balloon dog.
お散歩。
I found this one to be extraordinarily sad, so still around 2 months now. He's had no contact with any human beings aside from the delivery guy just dropping off his winnings. He wins a stuffed seal which he names Binasu
Oh, it's a seal.
and takes him for a walk. It's his only source of companionship. That shit just breaks my heart to see. I'm not gonna lie.
すげえ肉だ。
Wow, meat!
貧乏芸人の日常生活においてステーキの4文字なんて想像だにしなかった
肉をボールペンに刺して炙り始めた
Oh my god, so happy for him!
美味しそう。
Oh,
ナス
take
ビ
a
にとって
bite!
最高級の食べ物ステーキを今まさに食べようとする瞬間
This is his first time winning a direct source of protein. Up until this point, his diet was mainly just the rice and
I'm so happy that in Asia we use a lot of like raw fire when cooking food, right? His cooking countertop was also have open fire, raw fire. A lot of counter in America is actually electric. Imagine that. How would you survive with an electric counter? Like how?
like spaghetti. So he'd be getting trace amounts of protein, but never something like steak. His macros had to be so fucked from this, but he finally gets steak, and he cooks it by using a ballpoint pen to cook it over the direct flame, and he gets to eat it and is super happy about it. I'd also like to highlight something in that note he wrote. He said, in the life of a poor comedian, he's only used the word steak in his imagination. I think this is big because prior to this challenge, Nasubi wasn't a popular comedian in Japan. He wasn't well off or anything like that. This was his big break, which is why he was so excited to be part of this show. And then he gets tortured. It's so fucking cruel. Like, you can't help but feel absolutely horrible for this guy.
当たった
電車で電車で電車で電車でガッ
さらに
専用コントローラー好き
That's why he tried to be
はナス
funny.
ビ車掌はヴィーナスってな風に
かな。
加熱しないで食べるつもりだ
What is that?
うん全然いける。美味しい美味しい。うんすべてヴィーナス君のおかげだ。
He wins a PlayStation game as well as a special controller for it, but he doesn't have a PlayStation or a TV to play it on. He then also
DIY cooking, which is genius behavior, and now he's like winning more product. Maybe he's getting better luck with the magazine, not sure.
special controller for it, but he doesn't have a PlayStation or a TV to play it on. He then also wins raw pork and raw crab and eats it raw because he didn't really have an efficient way of cooking those. And you can see that he talks a lot to the stuffed seal. This is very much like a Castaway situation with Wilson. When you're deprived of human contact for as long as Nasubi has been, you start to try and find ways of being social. Humans are social creatures by
True.
nature, which is why it's so torturous to be deprived of that.
True.
It's fucking brutal. It's been right around 3 months by this point, and he is not even halfway done to the million yen goal.
3ヶ月ぶりの掃除スタート
It's sad, but he really looks happy. Aww.
まあ1は映んねえのか。ガップするよこれで。
そのものとは
歯ブラシと歯
Oh
磨
my
きの
god!
セットです。
Congrats!
He's able to win a vacuum cleaner, which enables him to clean the room for the first time in 3 months, and then wins a TV, which would have been great because he'd finally have some source of entertainment, but unfortunately, since there was no antenna, it was useless because it would only play static. And he still didn't have a PlayStation to like play the PlayStation game that he won, so the TV was just a source of fucking white noise, I suppose.
I guess.
And then he finally gets something really, really useful, which is a toothbrush and toothpaste, which lets him brush his teeth for the first time in 3 months.
Oh my.
白衣を着た
Oh, a human!
人現る
健康チェックに来ただけです。
全く問題ありませんなすびさんは健康であると認めます
This is one component that I always see left out for all of the publications or videos that talk about the horror of the Nasubi story. They actually had a doctor come in and check up on him. The staff wanted to make sure that he wasn't like on the brink of death or that he hadn't contracted any like serious disease or anything. So they had a doctor come in, take his vitals, also did like a blood and urine test, or so they claim, and then gave him a clean bill of health. Now, assuming that that's all legitimate and not just, theatrics for the television program, I would still say this doesn't take into account the actual torture this man is enduring. Like, even if his vitals are okay, he doesn't have a disease or any, like, big alarming health concerns. This is a man that has been deprived of sunlight, socialization, entertainment, and just basic human needs for 3 months by this point. So even if all the blood work and all of that is within normal limits, this is a man who is still very much not okay. And to try and make it seem like, no, everything's great, Nasubi's happy, and this is a totally fine by the books thing, look, the doctor even says so, is even more scummy and shitty.
True, I think the doctor checkup is only shows physically maybe he's okay, but like mentally, I don't think he's like perfectly fine, right? How did doctor now throw some shit as a showrunner? Right?
嫌なことに気づいてしまった命の源お米が米袋の底に溜まってる程度になってしまって
Oh
る
no.
ついに
No
今
rice.
日で最後か。これが最後のお米です。はいドッグフードです。
Oh.
すると
まずい
Ew.
ドッグフードです。
Somehow, the story keeps getting more tragic. The rice that he won on the 20th day was finally running out, and he was unable to win any more during this time, so he resorted to eating dog food. And dog food became the primary thing that he was eating. It was like his main diet.
Oh no.
So he was surviving off dog food. And another thing that I've seen brought up a few times that I also question is the legitimacy of like what shows up, because it would have been very easy for producers to intercept things that Nasubi had won if they were too helpful. Like, I find it very odd that the only thing Nasubi won in terms of clothing throughout all 15 months was a pair of panties. That seems so unrealistic. I really think there may have been foul play, and this is just a conspiracy, where the producers intercepted clothes in order to keep him naked for the sake of the comedy of the show.
Maybe.
And I think that there could have been a lot of cases like that. There's also nothing that would have stopped them from sending things he didn't win, like dog food. He may have never like entered a dog food sweepstakes, and they could have sent it to him in order to further humiliate and torture him for the audience. There's just so much shit in here that is beyond cruel and unusual. Like it blows my mind that this is something that actually happened to a real human being.
神よ我に
This dude has a point. Very good point.
生きる力を与えきり米ですじゃんじゃんじゃん
Oh.
Luckily, he was able to win rice 3 months later. He won 10 kilograms of rice about 3-ish months after mainly surviving off dog food, as well as a couple of other foods that he'd win here and there. But
He eats dog food for 3 months?
dog food for a while was like his primary source of nutrition. And then he finally gets rice again. Now, it's been about 6 months-ish, and he is finally halfway to the goal. In 6 months, he reaches the halfway point. According to Atrocity Guide, he has submitted 38,000 entries by this point. 38,000 sweepstakes entries in 6 months, and he is only halfway to the goal.
Oh my. Has he been showering? I really pray. There is no soap. Doctor?
この時ナスビは思った。
終わりですか100万いったんですかいってない意味がわからないんですけど全然うわ
What's that for?
車やった動いてる動いてるこれはまあ全部揃ってるというか引っ越しっていうことなんですか
Just when you thought it couldn't get more fucked up. So what happened here is this show was so popular, people eventually found out where Nasubi was being held. So there was paparazzi, reporters, and everything that all were crowding around the space, so the producers moved him to an identical space where no one would know where he was. It was super far away. It was like 5 hours away, I believe. And this whole time, Nasubi thought, oh, I must have won. But it turns out he didn't. They were just moving him to continue the game in a different location.
They didn't tell him for 5 hours of driving? That's horrible.
Looks like actual kidnapping, and to a certain extent it is. The entire time, Nasubi is kind of delirious. He hasn't talked to people in a long time. He even says his mind is clouded with anxiety, and he's saying things that don't make any sense. He's unable to really talk to people or talk around people in general. He's like completely lost that ability due to right around 6 months in total isolation.
しかしこの企画が放送されていることを知らないナスビにプロデューサーは
なんか演技担ぎ
Hi.
じゃあ私のためってことですねこれは
Huh?
身に余る光栄です
The team told Nasubi that he was moved to a new location for renewed luck, so better fortune at a new spot, because they didn't want to tell him the real reason that they were relocating him, so they came up with that, and I'm pretty sure Nasubi doesn't believe them because he kind of laughs about it, saying, oh, so it's for my own benefit. I think he's very well aware now that this is a pretty fucking evil team of producers here, and whatever reason they had for moving him probably wasn't for his own benefit.
格屋のこれは椅子と机が当たったってことなのかなこれは社長気分っつうのかね
当選第1号国用のパーソナルデスク&チェア
操作しづらいんですよね爪が邪魔でね爪がこ
Oh
んなに
my
なっちゃって
god. Oh my.
His first win in the new location actually is a fucking fat one. He gets a new desk, a new chair. They're both relatively expensive too, so it's a great victory for him. And he shows his nails. The nail growth is outrageous. He hasn't been able to trim them in about 6 months now. Like, he is genuinely a prisoner here, and it shows.
With this room switch, producers decided to offer a live web stream alternative, causing them to digitally follow Nasubi.
My man is a real one. In that long time, he reject to bite it. Like, he's like, nope, I'm not biting it. It's not hygiene or something.
Around with a joystick in order to censor his genitalia. As you can see, the quality of the live stream is primitive, but keep in mind this is in the late 90s.
I couldn't actually find a high quality clip showing how they censored the live stream or did the live broadcast, so this comes from Atrocity Guide as well. What they did is the producers had a whole team that was dedicated to following Nasubi around with a joystick like they were playing a fucking arcade game with a sensor to keep his dick and balls off the screen. And they live streamed him. They wanted to offer a real-time alternative instead of just doing like the weekly Nasubi update with clips. They wanted 24/7 Nasubi coverage for anyone that wanted to go watch. So this was pretty innovative for its time. I think it's definitely one of the first like actual around-the-clock live streams that ever actually aired. It's pretty impressive.
ウィダーインゼリーが当たってかれこれ2週間当選がない。
ここまでね当たんないってのもなかなか久しぶりの出来事でね。
車で移動。着いたところは？
Oh? They take him out?
ナスビのあまりの運のなさに見かねたスタッフは当然運の上昇を願い2度目の引っ越しを決めたのだった。
So Nasubi initially had a good string of luck at the new location. I believe, according to Atrocity Guide, he had done 17,000 entries and won decent stuff, but then hit a really bad cold streak, even ran out of food at one point, so the producers did move him again to another location to help him out in winning more prizes, I suppose.
Oh.
And it worked, because he did win more prizes.
Oh. I feel bad I'm laughing because he seems to be happy, but I think this happy is first of all temporary and he's only presenting it for the camera. I mean, there are a lot of sad and silent moments definitely here. I feel so fucking bad. Hi workout, hi.
ぶつけ当選の舞。
Like the people said, he's a comedian. So when he faced the camera, he present himself to be funny on purpose, right? This is for his career. That's so fucking sad.
ほんと10ヶ月ぶりにねトイレットペーパーに触ったよ本当に。
He finally wins food again and really celebrates getting some potato chips. And he also gets a VHS player, which will be nice to go with the TV, assuming he ever wins a VHS tape to play it. But I think the most important thing he wins here is toilet paper. This is the first time he's had toilet paper in his entire stay. 10 months so far. And to celebrate, he tries to take a shit just out of frame, but was unable to. So an unsuccessful mission there, but at least he finally has toilet paper.
Congrats!
8ヶ月前のこと。
電車でコントローラー好き。
6ヶ月前。
おー来たよ。とりあえずまずや。
Oh my god.
Go.
It
Now, this
actually
is by
worked.
far the meatiest win he's gotten so far. A PlayStation. That's pretty expensive, especially during this time period, and it also enables him to have real entertainment for the first time in 10 months. This is like a moment that's straight out of like Civilization, where you climb up the tech tree slowly but surely. 8 months prior to this, he won a PlayStation 1 game, Densha De Go, which also had the special controller to go with it. Couldn't play it, obviously, at the time. 6 months ago, he won a TV. So he had a PlayStation game, a controller, a TV, but no console. He finally got that last missing piece of the puzzle, the console, and is able to play PlayStation games now. Well, the single PlayStation game he's won. And what's really interesting about this is his first piece of actual entertainment he's had since being fucking imprisoned here. But also, and this was pointed out by Caleb, this would make him the world's first video game live streamer, because this is all being live streamed. All of this is a live broadcast. And he spent 4 straight
He is the OG streamer?
days playing his PlayStation. So for 4 straight days, he was being streamed playing a game. This man was the patient zero of streaming. He walked so Twitch could run.
一心不乱で電車2号に熱中するナスビ。電車で5、3日目に突入。
金プレステでございます。
He played so much Densha De Go that he had to ban himself from playing it further so he could focus on entering into more sweepstakes and getting closer to freedom.
Densha To Go should sponsor him.
So he stopped playing the game, went back to writing entries, and he was able to do it. He pulled off the last remaining prizes he needed to reach that million yen mark.
一歩間違えてダイヤにしてくれてれば。
今回当たった タイヤが8万4000円。つま
Wow.
り現在の総額は96万9114円。
The tires put him extremely close to completing the challenge. He was right at the finish line here, so close he could throw the Dinsha to go disc right over the finish line. Only a couple more wins would secure this, and he was able to pull it off. The final item he won that put him over the $1,000,000 threshold was a bag of rice. But Nasubi
Happy for
didn't know
him.
he won. It had been 335 straight days of constant, non-stop, relentless filling out of sweepstakes in order to win these prizes. 335 days of torture, and Nasubi had finally reached the finish line, but didn't know it.
Oh. That's a whole year.
ゴールを祝いクラッカーで祝福。
He looks so scared. What?
100万になったってことですか？
This is so inhumane. Look at those bone, chat. Look at that side. Oh my god. What? What the fuck? Look at that body. That's not healthy at all. That's not healthy. How does it get worse?
11ヶ月と
バヒバー
1日前に脱がされた私の服ですね。
But he
Per
won.
usual, the producers come in like a group of burglars during the night and start popping party poppers in his face, which scares the shit out of him and really confuses him. They eventually explain that he did win, he made $1,000,000, and they give him his clothes back. It's been 11 months and 1 day, and this is the first time Nasubi's putting clothes on in that entire time frame.
Yeah.
So when he puts them on, he says that it's uncomfortable and itchy, but he's very, very, very happy to be done with the contest and glad that he's completed it. But that's not where this story ends.
食べる骨付きカルビにナスビ悶絶。
The producers took Nasubi to Korea, telling him it was a celebration for completing the game and
That's
for
so
all of his
fun.
hard work. So they went to an amusement park. He ate a lot of great food. He had a wonderful
Okay, finally the man has some little good thing happens. Let him be free. This is the end, right? Please. This is the end of the show.
incredible time, and then things got real fucked up.
そこは
What?
脱いで。人は韓国の憲章だけで生きていけるか。
ナスビ大ショック。
Nasubi was making them far too much money. The producers weren't done suckling from this cash cow's teat, so they trapped Nasubi in Korea. The goal this time wasn't $1,000,000 yen. This time he was going to have to enter sweepstakes in Korea, which he didn't speak Korean, so he had to use a Korean to Japanese dictionary to translate. His goal was to enter the sweepstakes, win prizes enough to afford a plane ticket from Korea to Japan. That was...
What kind of contract did he sign and agree to? This is bizarre. This is so crashing indeed. There is no Google Translate. He just researched every word through Korean dictionary. That's like brutal. That's gonna take so many time to fill in like one magazine requirement.
the objective. He was stripped naked yet again and forced to endure the same torture that he had already endured for 335 days prior. I would like to make a mention here. There is a moment where the producer says, if you don't want to do this, just say so. To which Nasubi responds, I'll do it.
Whoa.
So I don't think they had ever forced him against his will to complete these challenges, but he was pretty much promised fame after doing these things.
Wow.
So
Wow. Okay, there is a show about this dude on Hulu. He didn't sign a contract. and the experience broke him. What do you mean broke him? Is he okay now? I wanna see what he's doing now. He had to learn from French, like Korean. Like what?
In the pursuit of Nasubi's big dreams, he allowed himself to be tortured mercilessly for 15 months.
こんなにいっぱいということは商品総額が47,800円ということはゴール46,900円突破検証生活 in Korea.
This time around, however, Nasubi went fucking plus ultra, straight up turbo mode. He had become a master at this shit. So he was actually able to complete this challenge in just about 2 months.
Nice.
Which made the producers very upset because he didn't suffer long enough. So they increased the challenge duration. They moved the goalpost. Instead of just getting a one-way ticket from Korea to Japan in economy class, they required him to get an additional 9,000 yen in prize winnings to upgrade that ticket to business class.
What?
エコノミークラスという一番安い料金こんなに頑張ったのにエコノミークラスとはあんまりだそこでビジネスクラスにランクアップ点まであと9,500円頑張れナスビ
Yeah, more scummy, evil shit from the producers here. They never even told him he initially completed the goal here. They just let him keep writing postcards until he'd gather another 9,000 yen. They didn't want him to win quickly. They didn't really want him to win at all because the longer he struggles and suffers, the more money they were making. So they let him just keep going and tried to spin it as a positive thing, like, look at how hard Nasubi's working. We're not going to let him fly in economy class. So the new goal is business class because it's what Nasubi would want.
What are some cruel producer and human being? Like nobody in this production team just feel bad for him and fight for him. Maybe they did, but they didn't win, I guess. They're not the decision maker. This is, ooh. Nasubi always said yes, he should have said fuck it and just go home. I don't understand his mindset, but he is being very strong, okay? Very, very strong.
Just genuinely fucked shit.
頑張ったってこんなお茶2袋お茶よ
4,000円ということは商品総額は61,800円ということファーストクラスにランクアップということはゴールの金額もランクアップ
What?
Nasubi easily gathered the remaining 9,500 yen after winning some expensive tea leaves, so he was absolutely slapping the producers' bottoms, like he was going hog wild right now. So again, they increased the goal without ever telling him. Now, business class wasn't good enough. Now it was going to have to be a first class ticket, which was an additional 20,000 yen, I believe, which again was pretty quick for Nasubi to gather. He won a live octopus, a big picture frame, and was able to gather enough money through prizes pretty quickly to get that final rank up to first class passenger.
He's a pro now.
So then he finally gets the ticket from Korea to Japan in first class, and it's over.
そしてプロデューサーに連れられたナスビ登場もちろんアイマスクにヘッドホンナスビは驚くべき行動に出る
別にまだかかる
なんと脱ぎ始めた
Oh my god, that's so brutal! What's this? Just trick him into a third house and put him on stage. He even stripped himself to be naked, and it's a fucking, oh my fucking god, what the fuck? That's so fucked up. He just looks so scared.
But the story wouldn't be complete without one more final act of cruelty towards Nasubi. They blindfold him, put noise-canceling headphones on him, disorient him, and drag him on stage into a mock room designed to look like the rooms that he'd been staying in for the last 15 months. So out of pure instinct, he gets completely nude again. It's the only life he knows, so without ever being told to take his clothes off, he does it anyway. And then the walls break away, revealing a live studio audience laughing at him and congratulating him for completing the show. Nasubi is understandably confused because for 15 months he has been psychologically and physically tortured.
It's like he stripped himself. Did you all see that? That's like so heartbreaking to see.
So he doesn't understand what's happening, he doesn't get it, and is shocked, scared, and all around bewildered. It's just one more sick fucking joke from the producers. Millions of people watching the finale, as well as thousands in person watching him, completely naked and completely having no idea what's going on or why. The Life of Prizes was finally complete, and the entire show, Susanoo Denpa Shonen, was cancelled pretty shortly after. It didn't have like a super long run after this, but the toll that this experience took on Nasubi's life obviously didn't stop with the finale. He reported being uncomfortable in clothes for about 6 months afterwards, and his social skills had obviously deteriorated. He said he was a lot more shy and not really able to be a comedian super well anymore because obviously he had been cut off for so long from people. He just kind of lost the ability to carry on conversations efficiently and overall just became a lot more reserved as a result of this. He did, however, sell his diary, the Nasubi Life of Prizes diary, like his journal, and that was a bestseller. That was a massive success. But he himself never achieved that level of fame that he was kind of promised with a show like this. He did have certain roles in other productions, and some of them pretty sizable roles in other productions, but never a massive success in Japan, even though this is like the most successful live stream in Japan's history. So just an overall extremely sad and cruel story. The main producer behind this show has gone on record and said he doesn't regret anything. He said his goal is to make miracles on film, and with Nasubi, he accomplished that goal. He did apologize to Nasubi, and Nasubi confirms that the producer did apologize to him, but the apology only does fuck all. Like, that doesn't make up for 15 months of lost human contact and health. Like that's a nothing burger. But I guess at least he apologized, even though he made millions of dollars off the back of Nasubi's suffering. But anyway, I wanted to share this story because I find it to be one of the most interesting ones when it comes to like live broadcast television as well as live streaming. This is one of the first live streams, and it was fucking bizarre.
I want to say, like, the producer is a fuck up person, but the main character, he's just so strong. Like, mentally, physically, this thing must damage him, but through how they presenting it or live stream it, they never show like a mental breakdown moment, right? That man is built different, honestly.
Extremely fucked up story. And yeah, I just wanted to share that with all of you. Thank you to Caleb and Chelsea for compiling a bunch of clips here, so that way we could tell the story as best as possible. And yeah, that's about it. See ya.
So he got invited to do appearance at shows and couldn't deliver on being good guest because he was so shy now. He also became a local celebrity in Fukushima, where he's from. He went around trying to cheer people up after the meltdown, and he climbed Mount Everest. Okay, that's cool. I wonder how much money he made. Literally, this is like, have you seen the Truman Show, that movie? This is like the Truman Show, but in real life, it's, oh my god. Japanese game show or something else. This is just abhorrent. It should be illegal. It should be illegal. Why is my screen keep flashing today? That's weird. He did 1 mil from the first season and 800k from the second. Are those in USD? Japanese money. That's not even a lot USD.